Hey guys, Raven here. Today's video is going to be something different than what I normally would make. I wanted to make my very first gaming analysis on something I'm very passionate about. So I'm going to base this on a rumor or myth in the Xenoblade fanbase. This myth is that people are saying Mythra is not a Monado despite her brother Alvis being one. Now this also goes for Malos, since Malos is exactly like Mythra in every possible way. So I wanted to directly address this and show why that is a very stupid assessment of the lore. And be warned, this video will have spoilers for every Xenoblade game, 1, 2, Torna, and 3. So let's begin this with the Monado, as explained by Xenoblade 1, is that it's a sword made by an officer named Alvis. Common characteristics of the Monado is to alter fate, see fate, and change the laws of causality and reality. It also manipulates ether to an absurd degree, as well as produces unique ether wavelengths. This is kind of comparable to the wave existence from Xenogears. If you look at Alvis, when he transforms just from being the Monado to his actual crystal form, he looks like the wave existence. They're not the same thing, it's just a cool coincidence. So you may ask, what are some common characteristics of the Monado shape? None. They all can take any shape or size. Now what I said isn't entirely accurate, as all but 2 Monados have a giant circle showing arts. Manus, for example, doesn't have a giant circle showing arts, and neither does Mythra's. Monados have something called Monado arts, which is solely used by Monados in Shulk's Monado replica. Now I'd like to discuss what the Trinity core processors are, as well as the Zohar and conduit. Zohar and conduit are the same thing, by the way, just alternating names between the canons, and why this solely proves Mythra and Malos are Monados. Let's start this with the conduit or the Zohar. It's a giant crystal that has properties that can alter all the spacetime on an infinite level, shown by it making a realm that contained an infinite sea.
Long ago, the world was nothing more than an endless sea, cloaked in a boundless sky, reaching as far as could possibly be imagined. Then 2 great titans came into existence.
It was simple curiosity. The curiosity of a single man that destroyed the universe and created a new one. A new universe. Your world was born. And so, 2 gods came into existence.
Then Alvis remaking that infinite sea and the entire universe into an unshackled one like 2's. Actual properties are contested in Xenoblade lore by Klaus and Galea. Klaus says it was a gift from a divine entity that could make a new universe. Galea says it's a meta-universe manifold, which basically means acting like a giant portal to other pre-established universes.
It's perfectly safe. We are about to bear witness to the birth of a universe! Once, only a god could perform such a miracle. But today, mankind moves one step closer to the divine.
Are you serious? Do you even fully understand that thing?
What's the alternative? Do you want to just surrender this place to them? The conduit is a gift from some divine entity. It is a gateway. A gateway that will take us to an entirely new world.
You're delusional. Divine entity? The conduit is nothing more than a meta-universe manifold.
Galea.
One thing that is agreed upon is that it acts like a perpetual motion machine that can warp space-time and go to different dimensions and make dimensions. It is also described to be magnetic abnormal matter. Next, let's discuss the real meat and potatoes, the Trinity core processors. The Zohar, under constant threat of being stolen by rival military forces, caused Klaus and the unified government to form a team called Aodos to make 3 cores similar in shape to the Zohar. Now, the goal wasn't to make them similar shaped, it just happened to be like that. I just thought it was a cool similarity, that's why I wrote it like that. Don't get semantic with me in the comments. These cores are named after God in biblical scriptures from the book of Proverbs. Antos, the Father, 3:13. Logos, the Son, 10:12, Pneuma, the Holy Spirit, 4:18. The 3 cores were raised in virtual reality, kind of like Cosmos in Xenosaga. Eventually, they gained personality and sentience to a degree. The Trinity made sirens, artifices, and then later Ophion protect the Zohar from harm. This all culminates into Klaus destroying Earth and separating his universe into physical matter and ether, which was explained in Xenoblade 3.
In the distant past, what was once a single world was cleft in twain. Plus and minus, on the surface they were identical. These 2 worlds of opposing nature knew nothing of each other as they wended their way towards their own respective futures. However, the worlds yearned for each other. Against the solitude of existence, they strove to reunite.
Leia, this is the birth of a brand new universe.
Stop, Klaus!
I'm not going to recap the entire plot of Xenoblade 1, but here's a bombshell. Alvis is Antos. Boo, shocker, you couldn't tell by his core crystal. He's one of the Trinity core processors, obviously. He shot himself into a far-flung dimension made from the ether from Klaus's universe.
And so the Blades were born. Ontos, Logos, and Pneuma. The 3 cores of the Trinity processor formed their cornerstone. However, Ontos triggered a space-time transition event and disappeared forever.
He made a realm within the new dimension, an infinite ocean called the Shackled Universe. Alvis requires hosts to harness his power fully, as he doesn't have the code to completely act independently like his brothers and sisters.
I was left with the other 2, Logos and Pneuma, entrusting them with managing the blades. The core crystals at the heart of each blade are tasked with relaying all kinds of information to Logos and Pneuma about the selection pressures of the outside world and the biological status of their bonded human, but also the experiences and emotions they share. As the data continually accrues, new evolutionary code is sent back to the core crystals. And this code is used to create new, further evolved blades. These blades too become titans in time, and create new generations of life forms.
Alvis, under Shulk's command, recreates reality using his power as a Trinity core processor. This was all under the guise of the Monado. You see where I'm going with this. The Monado is a high-tech sword with the ability to alter the laws of reality and change the futures, and thus you were made which has shown that ability. The Monado is also made from a Trinity core processor, from the core, so you can actually see where I'm going with this, right? So now let's move on to what are Pyra and Mythra and Malos. Mythra is the core named Pneuma. She is a Zord. Mythra is a core named Pneuma. She is a sword that can alter fate, see fate, and alter all of causality and reality.
Let's do it!
What is this?
It's called foresight.
I don't...
A prediction of what will happen in the immediate future. Read their movements to find an opening, then counter.
I get it.
If we can get a little closer, we might be able to do something.
Is that true, Pyra?
Probably. Think back. Do you remember our fight against Jin? By rewriting the physical laws of the surroundings, we were able to match Jin's speed. If we rewrote them...
You still got it. But so do we. Oh, no, you don't!
The power to manifest what you imagine.
Now, why aren't they called a Monado? Because Malos named them Aegis, which slightly goes against the original Japanese meaning, but honestly in a good way. The Japanese interpretation or meaning was the Heavenly Holy Grail. The English or Greek localization, the Shield of Zeus. Literally the fucking safety nets of the Zohar. So fucking bra, man. You can see why this topic can frustrate many people like myself. Yes, it's true, Mythra doesn't use traditional Monado arts, but neither does Maneth. As well as Shulk's fake Monado Rex still has Monado arts despite being a fake replica.
Fine, but not to make habits of it. Okay. Summon
Monado!
Malos can use Monado arts just like Alvis. Malos and Mythra can control ether to an absurd degree just like Alvis. Mythra is able to directly use ether from the Zohar, which was shown numerous times.
World's end has begun stirring once more. Rex, the power you and Numa exercise is the conduit's power.
And it is an infinite source of power. She can absorb and use Siren's power in her Infinity Blade special.
Yeah.
Let's get this done!
Xenoblade 3 spoilers inbound. You have 5 seconds. To prove this even further, Melia calls Alvis their Aegis in Xenoblade 3.
I have endeavored, for countless years, to protect and shelter Kevis under my aegis.
It's somewhat indirect, but what else would it mean? To further prove this, both nations gave each other intelligence to build Origin.
300 days remain to the intersection. It seems we might make it.
Yes. It took every bit of our combined intellects, but we built it.
I'd assume the name Aegis stuck for Alvis as well. It only makes sense. Now I want to backtrack to Mythra not using traditional Monado arts and why it doesn't matter. So Malos has Monado arts and couldn't make his sword because Mythra destroyed part of his core. That to me is more than enough evidence to prove that they are Monados. I would also like to make another case or two. Remember the memory space or dream space from the end of Xenoblade 1? It was made from Zanza's memories with Alvis's power. Mythra made one. Malos can enter that space, same with the spirit of Adam, like we see when he talks to Rex. Thanks to Neo, we know ghosts exist when she calls Adam's phantasm ghosts. Not to mention, remember when Shaw got shot by Dixon and died? He was then taken to memory space and talked to by Alvis for a while. Same thing happened to Rex at the start of Xenoblade 2 when Jin stabbed him through the heart. The next commonality with both Alvis and Numa / Mythra, they reject their host with a lightning-like effect. Adam was petrified of Numa's power, which ended up causing an incompatibility. That incompatibility led to Adam getting brought to his knees with searing pain and lightning shooting all over him from the Monado of Numa. She was rejecting him as its user. Some of you may realize that's the same as Shulk and Dunban. One last topic I wanted to talk about, just because it's a little fun, is that Rex can use all of Shulk's Monado arts and new ones. It's not a very canon thing since it was made from the Napon Arc stage, but it's a cool detail I wanted to add. I'd also like to point out I made a mistake earlier saying Mythra doesn't have a circle in her Monado. She does. If there's anything you think I missed, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys learned something and understood what I was trying to talk about in this video. Leave suggestions for the next Xenoblade video down below. Peace.